welcome to the Glitter Show with me, Gillian Gossel. Today, I'm very pleased to introduce and to interview Ryan Shriver, who is the founder of PRDAO. So Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the show.
I appreciate being here. Thank you for the invite.
No, it's great because we've worked together before in your previous incarnation as a CMO at Glitter. We should get to that later. But first of all, tell me a little bit about your background. We were discussing 18 years now of marketing experience. We're all getting older as the time goes on. So tell me about some things that you've done and highlights that you've enjoyed.
Sure. So I've worked 18 years traditional marketing, which is a long time for marketing. It feels like marketing specialists kind of are short-lived, but I did traditional marketing where I did television mostly. We created campaigns for projects, companies that wanted to be on television or radio, wanted direct mail ads. I'm not sure if you've had any direct mail and other formats, but or other different kinds of campaigns. That was really my first job right out of high school. I started off in their mailroom and then started working into sales and building campaigns. Then I became VP of acquisitions of that firm where
I got to stop you there. You literally started in the mailroom and went up to VP of acquisitions.
Yes.
That's like classic rags to riches story, isn't it?
Starting in the mailroom. A lot of hustle for sure.
My goodness. And so did you stay long in that position or what did you do? You become figures or
I enjoyed that. They started to buy strategic assets like television networks and satellite networks. So that was my focus, was choosing the outlets that were most strategic for our clientele. And it was interesting. I really did like it. Back in 2011, I ended up opening up my own agency and focused on my own clients and kind of scaled it down a lot, but was able to do a lot more on the side. So even though I had my own agency and I was running that, I was able to take on other things that I really enjoyed. So
what things did you really enjoy?
Yeah, that was, so my family and I, we were missionaries in central Mexico for a while. We worked with youth and kind of did some fun stuff around the area here in Texas that I'm in. And then I actually became the executive director of a nonprofit organization, which was a shelter for domestic violence and human trafficking victims. So I worked in that project for several years. And then right after COVID hit, I really started focusing more on blockchain projects. I wanted to do something fun and less serious, I guess.
Stressful, I imagine.
Yes,
worthy, but stressful. So you mentioned that you did a lot of like Web 2 work, and you said you got more in blockchain. Did you know that you were moving into Web 3? When you first heard of blockchain, did you go, "Oh my God, this is amazing," or did you go, okay? Well, how did you greet blockchain?
Yeah, so I remember it being pitched to me back a long time ago, and it was Bitcoin, of course, and Bitcoin was pirate money. So I didn't want to get into it at the time, and I kick myself now, of course. At the time, I thought, "No, I don't want to own pirate money. Why would I want pirate money?" Now I'm wishing I had that pirate money, but you know, it always kind of seemed like it moved so fast you could never grasp it, right? It just took all of your energy and time just to understand the technology and the projects that were popping up left and right. And then COVID really slowed everything down, right? And it allowed us to really focus in and spend time thinking about blockchain and the technology that is popping up all over the place, and really redefining everything. I feel it will redefine everything. And that's whenever I really dove headfirst and bit hard on that hook. And
so it was the technology that attracted you. I suppose, of course, as the years went on, people realized the pirate money facade was only a stage. It was only a narrative that wasn't terribly accurate, apart from anything else. So with blockchain, you're all in on the Algorand Protocol. Is there a reason why, or did you go through other chains first, or tell me about why Algorand?
I did go through other chains, but I really bit hard on the community, the NFT community, the speed and the technology. That was really the most important thing for me. I hate whenever you send money on Ethereum and you don't see it on the other end, and you're wondering where it went. Did I add a space or something, some like little minor issue that sent my money off into some black hole somewhere? So that's always a little terrifying. But I've definitely worked with several projects on Algorand because I would consider this my home blockchain. Our project, though, PRDAO, it accepts multiple tokens, so not just Algorand.
It's a thing. So just maybe before we get on to the PRDAO and the concept behind it, you worked, as I say, for a period as a CMO for Glitter Finance, and then
Yeah.
you have a partnership with Glitter and Rainbow. So what attracted you to Glitter? And had you worked in finance before this, or was this your first financial project?
I did do some work for a few different protocols that were more contract based in finance and DeFi type of stuff. So I wasn't new to it. I'd met David in a time I was working on another project, and we had secured a partnership with Glitter Finance, and it really, I like David. I like his personality. He's very direct. And I feel that that's hard to come by sometimes for people in our industry that they like to kind of go around things, whether it's intentionally, unintentionally. I like his bluntness. So whenever I was kind of looking around for another project, I reached out and they had a need. So I was able to work with David and the team over there for a bit.
And what about the Rainbow Network? Do you have any thoughts on where that's going and the benefits of it?
I love the project. I think that it's definitely something that's needed, something that can bridge multiple blockchains. Inherently, that's I think gonna be a big asset. And I think the Glitter Finance community should be very happy about it, especially if you're an XGLI token holder.
And then moving on to the PRDAO. So what is the idea? This is a decentralized marketplace on Algorand originally. What is it? What does that mean?
Sure. So it's a freelancer platform. Allows projects to be able to contract out tasks, whether it be, the menial things that projects now especially are required to have, but it takes time and money for projects to keep. So how time consuming writing blogs for a project can be, since you're a writer.
Yeah.
So writing blogs, it takes a lot of time. It costs money for a project to keep on staff, a writer, but it's needed. It's necessary. It's expected for projects on the blockchain to have a blog that can help them. So they have to. It's expected that for them to do it, and it's costly, especially in this market where it's a bear market. Projects that are lean are going to do better than projects that are overcommitted on staff. So what this project, what PRDAO does, it allows a project to contract with a writer, and the writer's happy, they get paid, and the project's happy because they get the asset. So it's acting as a freelance marketplace for marketing Web3 projects. Yeah.
And of course, there is a big difference. I mean, Web 2 to Web 3 is a huge leap, and the technology is a huge leap, but the thinking is a huge leap. So you're saying that those other gig marketplaces like Fiverr or AnyTask, whatever, they're more geared towards Web 2. And this is like if you want someone to do writing for you, you want them to understand the concepts of Web 3, and so why not come to a specialist site?
That's definitely one of the selling points. You're going to get a better end product because they're blockchain native people, and really people in your community. So if you take any project and they are contracting a writer, because that's the easy one, or a graphic designer, let's say, the graphic designer is going to be doing research on your project and potentially could stay in your community as somebody who's emotionally invested in your project. And then more than that, because it's a Web3 platform, it accepts token. So with projects, any type of blockchain project, whether it's Solana, Ethereum, or Algorand, most of their assets are going to be on the blockchain. And navigating fiat, navigating a bank account and credit cards, that's a mess. And any CFO is going to tell you how big of a mess that is. So we make it simple. We allow projects to be able to use the assets that they have on the blockchain already and to get the work done that they need done. And the community's happy because they're being contracted. So
I like it, you know, because when I first came into this area, it was about 2017, I was astonished about how many sort of volunteers there were in the community. They were all writing and stuff. And oftentimes these very hardworking, industrious members of the community weren't really being paid. I mean, there might be some bounties or whatever, but a lot of it was kind of volunteer stuff, which was fine, except you've got a wife or a husband and children to feed. You know, it's not quite as nice. I mean, if you're a young thing and maybe you've got time on your hands, fine. But if you have obligations in the real world, you need to be. So this is interesting. So it's actually commercializing or formalizing all the activity that happens, but through a site. And then also presumably the standards will come up. Can people be rated? Like if you have writers, can you leave ratings for them so they know how good they are?
yes, review system is important also, right? So we actually created a system where marketers are leveled. So every 5 successful tasks that they're submitted, they go up 1 level. So the levels go from 1 to 10. So if you have a very technical project, like a technical white paper that needs to get done, then you might want a more professional writer. You don't want someone that just started. You want someone that's been vetted. So you can actually target that task to a higher level marketer.
Yeah, not unreasonable. And then how do the pay scales sort of compare with, I don't know, ordinary freelance work? Can you compare them?
Yes, yeah. So it's a free marketplace, so we don't regulate that, and we also don't require a minimum. So what that means is that if I am wanting a technical white paper created and I have, $15 worth of token to put towards it, probably not going to get a good or any response from a marketer, right? Most people will look at the time that would require and the skills that would require and say, I don't have time for that task. But then, someone may, and it would be a horrible white paper, right? So you kind of get what you pay for there. And it does require that whoever's submitting the task, whether it's a project or an individual, to be able to look at what they really want to pay for that, whether it's $100 worth of token or if it's $500 worth of token, they get what they pay for. And with our platform, it has a grading protocol where when you are done with the task and it's submitted in, it's graded by 3 other marketers that take a look at it for quality and impact. And they also add notes and edit suggestions in the note fields. And all that gets submitted into our platform for a calculation. There's a formula that we use to be able to determine the payout to you who created the project submission, but also me who if I paid for that to be done. Why that's comforting to me is that if the task that you submitted is very high quality, then I don't pay any more. You just get the maximum allotted amount. But if what you turned in was halfway done, there were a lot of errors, it was very poor quality and poor impact, then I get saved from overspending because based on the grade of those 3 other marketers, and that's a blind process. So it would be very hard, very difficult for that to be skewed. I end up paying less because it's a lower quality project. So I don't get screwed out of the deal.
So how do you pay these marketeers, and can anyone apply to be one of these marketing marketeers?
Yes, so it's all done through smart contract, and the payout as soon as the individual that submitted the task gets the task back and acknowledges that they received the task, the payment's distributed. So that makes it super simple. But any of us can help a project, right? So it doesn't take a whole lot of work experience or professional experience to be a mod for a weekend for Discord or Telegram. And it doesn't take a whole lot of professional experience to be maybe a decent graphic designer. You know, obviously skills important and tools are important, but we all have skill, right? You, for instance, might be a fantastic writer, but you also might be a great proofreader. So if I have a white paper and I need to submit it into somebody to proofread, you could proofread that, and that might not be the task that you would initially try to go after, but you can definitely do it, right? You have the skill set to be able to handle that. So it's that sort of thing that allows it to be a free market where I, as an individual, can submit a task, but also I can accept tasks and I can accept grading tasks. So there are multiple ways to both spend and make money on the platform.
That's interesting. So another slightly sideways question: why is doxing so important for you?
Oh, it's very important. I think it's important for any blockchain project, really, because there are so many situations where people have been frauded, they've been robbed, rug pulled. So taking responsibility for the projects that you're building is very important. That's one thing I loved about David. He's all out there. His face is very visible, and he's taking responsibility for everything that he's done in building. So that's important for a project owner to be upfront, out front with everything that they have. If they want the community to put money into it, then they need to be visible.
And finally, then, Ryan, you announced yesterday, I think it was, or on Friday, a partnership with Glitter. Can you tell me what that entails?
Yes, yeah, that's. I feel like this is going to be a big deal for this project. So we're prepared to launch our MVP here in a little bit, but due to funding, you know, we're still raising funds, so that's obviously a big concern. We're not able to build out every aspect of this until we can afford it. That's just the realities of opening a startup. But what we can do now with this partnership is we can accept XSOL. So originally, and our roadmap, we're prepared to accept Solana, Sol, and Ethereum. But that requires some development into our platform that we just can't afford right now. So our MVP will be able to accept Algorand for transactions and now XSOL. So we have that ability now to still reach the Solana marketplace that we didn't before.
Brilliant. So people want to find out more about the PRDAO. Where can they go?
Sure. So we have a pretty active Discord channel, and you can get the link on our website, which is prdao.io. So if you visit us there and join our Discord, I know not everyone loves Discord. We do have a Telegram channel also. I'd just say our Discord is probably the most active.
Okay, excellent. Well, I wish you every success. I love the idea, you know, a gig marketplace, freelance marketplace for Web3 professionals. So really cool. Thank you so much for your time today, Ryan, and I wish you every success.
Julian, and it was definitely good to speak with you and work with you again here.
Thank you.